Well, thank you very much. You know, I view our role on this committee is to serve as partners in the protection of America and her citizens. Our role is to work with you on this committee, as we have many experienced and talented members here, and I want to thank most of you that I've been able to have one-on-one engagements with. It is greatly appreciated because it's been an opportunity to allow for some very frank exchanges. So I compliment you for that. And it's important too, as you know, that the intelligence community across America and within this committee has a trust, because these agencies that you represent exist for the American people, bottom line. So I appreciate you being here today and presenting, and actually having the opportunity in this open setting to present in front of the American people. You know, our goal in the intelligence community is to gather information so that we can be able to thwart damage or harm, to secure our nation, to provide for peace, and to deter our enemies. So I do want to take a second to praise the very excellent work that you all have done on the Ukrainian-Russian situation, the predictability of what Russia was going to do. I do have to take a little exception to what my friend Mr. Himes had to say, because under the Obama administration, we provided Ukraine with blankets and MREs. Under the Trump administration, we very much strengthened NATO and provided javelins. But our goal is for deterrence. Deterrence requires action, and actions, I haven't seen actions taken that really have deterred or thwarted the Russian offensive since this all began, since it became known what Russia was planning to do. I see actions speak louder than words, and actions require results. Unfortunately, I feel that recent actions by our government seemingly aided and abetted the Russians, because energy and money are keys to the kinetic attacks and the capabilities of what Russia is now doing. So we've had this information, but in that same time frame, we have weakened our energy, we have enhanced Russians' energy capabilities and their monies. In essence, we paid them to become stronger. Now, this is sad news for Ukraine, and it's sad news for the free world. So again, I want to applaud what you do and what you have done. You've provided the intelligence. If I can shift a little bit, and going to the annual threat assessment and look at advances in technology that could lead to novel biological weapons. There's global labs that have some of the deadliest pathogens in China and Russia, and the development of a novel biological weapon could certainly complicate detection, attribution, and treatment of such threats. So the assessment notes that novel weapons could complicate detection and attribution, but I'd like to point out that uncooperative nations also complicate things, as we've seen from Beijing when trying to investigate the origins of COVID. So my questions are, what have we learned over the last couple of years from our response to and preparedness or lack thereof for the COVID-19 global pandemic that could help inform our response in the future? And what steps are we taking either by ourselves or with our allies to ensure that we're able to fully investigate these matters should the need arise?
Thank you very much, Representative Wenstrup. I'll start, and others may have more to add, but I think, honestly, I think we've learned a lot, certainly in ODNI and in the intelligence community on this issue. Among the things that we've learned is the fact that we did not, and still do not, frankly, have the internal expertise that we want to have on essentially bio issues, and that is something we're working hard to promote. And we have developed things like experts groups and so on that allow us to tap into expertise more easily in academia and in the private sector and otherwise. But that is something that I think needs to be expanded, and recruiting the right folks is a critical aspect of this. You've also set up in legislation the opportunity for public-private partnership talent programs, and that's something that we're trying to effectively utilize. And I think having an opportunity for folks to go in and out is critically important. We have also established a national intelligence manager for health in this space, that health security, that helps in this area. And I think part of what we've been trying to do is make sure that we're drawing from across the IC, because in really an extraordinary number of elements, certainly everybody that you see here before you has expertise and knowledge, and making sure that we can connect it together and be more effective and proficient in ultimately providing policymakers with an understanding of what's happening, and also how it is that that may translate into biological warfare and other things that are obviously of great and core interest to us. So I'll stop there and let others say anything they have.
Representative Wenstrup, I would just say DI's role in this is duty to warn. And so for the Department of Defense, we must have our eyes out, our ears out, and be able to understand this when it happens. For us and the lessons that we have learned, this is a really hard intelligence problem, and we have to be able to take advantage of all of the sources that are out there, and certainly open source tools to be able to get insight early has been very, very effective, and we're going to continue to develop those with our National Center for Medical Intelligence and continue to invest in those kinds of tools.
Thank you both. Yield back. Yes, sir.
Mr. Wenstrup, all I would add, as we've discussed before, is, we've created a new mission center at CIA, which is focused largely on the question that you raised of emerging technologies, designed both to help policymakers anticipate the pace at which our adversaries are moving, especially on issues like synthetic biology or biotechnology, and also to deepen partnership with the private sector so we better understand the pace of innovation in that area as well.
Thank you very much. Yield back.